Okay, here we are going today to learn about ICT, and this is about how to develop ICT integration in education and present it using PowerPoint. How ICT integration in education policies and strategies at global level, then ICT integration in education policies and strategies at national level, ICT integration in education policies and strategies at school level. Here at global ICT policy, we have certain bodies like UNESCO involved in developing global ICT in education policy guidelines about the ways ICT can advance progress toward education 2030 targets. The organization works with the Ministry of Education officials and other stakeholders to establish coherent goals for ICT integration in education and then facilitates the formulation of appropriate policies and master plans to advance these goals and create enabling environments. Through its policy toolkit and workshops, the organization helps guide the process of creating, planning, and evaluating intersocial ICT in education policies and programs. UNESCO also helps its member states take stock of lessons learned in other countries. It regularly publishes work examining ICT in education policies in different countries to identify best practices, analyze emerging threats, and make recommendations. It further organizes regional ICT in education ministerial forums to facilitate knowledge exchange across borders. Overall, UNESCO works to help countries craft policies that use the power of ICT to expand and improve education in line with SDG 4. Here we have 8 policy themes that are commonly identified in education technology policies around the world. They relate to 1. Vision and planning, 2. ICT infrastructure, 3. Teachers, 4. Skills and competencies, 5. Running resources, and 6. We have EMIS, and 7. Monitoring and evaluation, and lastly, number 8, we have equity. In the policy targets, to meet the following goals or objectives, they have to create the infrastructure conditions that enable the use of always on high-speed wireless internet across the country, facilitate the creation of infrastructure and frameworks that support the growth of data centers, pervasive instrumentation, machine learning, and local manufacturing, while fostering a secure and innovation ecosystem. Position the country to take advantage of emerging threats such as the shared and gig economy by enhancing our education institutions and the skills of our people. Grow the contribution of ICT to increase the overall size of the digital and traditional economy to 10% of GDP by 2030 by using ICT as a foundation for the creation of a more robust economy, providing secure income and livelihoods to the citizenry. We have mobile first approach by investigating in infrastructure required for work such as data centers and telecoms, market by seeking to increase the size of ICT contributions in the economy, skills and innovations by supporting and enabling the development of a solid technology entrepreneurship ecosystem in Kenya via an ICT core fund that will support the adoption and use of local innovations, public service delivery by enforcing activities such as collaborations between the national and county governments to ensure that all digital services are available to people. The Ministry of Education will therefore ensure that ICT will be integrated into the school education curriculum. The Ministry of Education will liaise with other public agencies and private organizations with the express purpose of ensuring that the education ICT program is relevant to the needs of all stakeholders. The Ministry of Education will ensure that ICT in the education system serves several purposes, all of which will contribute to the establishment of a knowledge-based economy. The Ministry of Education will establish an integration team comprising of curriculum, subject, ICT, and assessment specialists, as well as representative students. The Ministry of Education will work with educational institutions to make available the facilities, equipment, and personnel to permit equitable access to ICT for all students. The Ministry of Education will ensure that control mechanisms will be put in place to prevent access to observed material and undesirable sites on the internet. Train the students in skills which they will need to further education as an outgoing learning process throughout the rest of their lives and for future jobs. Can provide access to information and communication outside the classroom, e.g. through internet. Can be used to support teacher development via external networks. Can support and potentially transform teaching and learning process.